Hey guys, welcome to the pre-show. We had a little technical difficulties this tonight, and that seems like that happens every time we do something new. So bear with us, and we'll get the show going here in just a moment. So Josh, as we speak, well, I don't know if he's actually out on the course, but one of our past interviewees is out at King of the Hammers. You remember Richard Gautier? I just knew it. I had it in my head. I was going to say it right.
Yes, I sure do. I can't forget that guy. I was actually watching a little bit of his run in the Chocolate Thunder section earlier this afternoon. So some very, very great coverage this year of King of the Hammers, some live coverage. They've got a ton of cameras set up. It's really, really some cool stuff to watch.
You know, I didn't get a chance to read it, but I was noticing on their Facebook page that I saw them changing a motor. Do you know anything about what was going on there? I mean, I saw a nice 4.0 either going in or coming out.
No, I didn't catch that part. He was still going through the rocks last time I saw, and then I spent the last 5 hours going through traffic. So I'm sure there's quite a bit that I missed.
So what was the total time getting home?
Just a little over 5 hours.
Oh, you chopped. I've never seen you chop like that before. You said 5 hours?
5 hours. Quiet in my cans for some reason. I'm not hearing myself as loud as I normally do. I don't know what's going on.
You sound fine here.
All right. Well, I'll just keep plugging along then.
Well, let's see. I had stuff open, but I closed. I had a bunch of windows open, tabs, I should say. And then I closed Internet Explorer just to make sure things were nice and tidy and from a memory standpoint. Not my memory, the computer's memory. And didn't come back. So just pulling up the show notes now.
They are updated and for the most part good to go. I'm just kind of going in and adding a couple things to our Speak Pipe call-in topic discussion.
You know, I might have to, and that is a voicemail. That's going to be handled as a voicemail, by the way. Oh, okay. Jeep tips tonight. I did get a chance to put it on the notes. 12 minutes, 12 seconds. This one will be about winching. And again,
cool.
Not females that bring you beer, large steins of beer. And no, I'm not going to go that way. That was too blatant. I can't say that. So anyway, the actual mechanical thing that, and this was a request on XJ Talk back at the early part of January. We just didn't get to it. I forgot about it. And when I was looking for a segment for tonight, a Jeep Tip segment for tonight, because I really thought I was doing the show by myself. Doing the math, you'd be getting home about 10 minutes after the show started.
Yeah, that's honestly, I thought that's the way it was going to go. But thankfully, traffic started to clear up about a little after the halfway point, and I was finally able to make some, I wouldn't call it decent time. I got it into third gear.
Is there anything we need to discuss? Oh, I didn't get the opener up yet because I have the one Oh, let me play this for you.
This just in. New Jersey, capital city, running out of toilet paper. Mayor declares National Use Your Hand Day. Full story later in the news.
I forgot about that one.
You hear the music? So, let me stop this. So I stripped that out of episode 90, and then I took the original music and blended it over the top of where we were, talking about welcome to the XJ Talk Show and so on and so forth.
Oh,
and you didn't hear the blend, did you? You'd have to really listen.
No, I did. That was pretty good mixing there.
You're not dealing with a chimp here. Let's see. XJ Talk Show.
We had at the end of last show, you realized that we did have a Stitcher review. Did we want to throw that into this show?
Sure. We didn't read that one. I thought we read that one.
No, I don't think so. I'm just looking at the show notes from last week, and we were talking about getting Stitcher reviews, and I think it was after the show that you realized that we had one.
Okay.
And so I haven't listened to the podcast, so unless you threw it in post, I haven't seen it.
No, I didn't do it in post. Let me grab that real quick. That's what she said. It's pre-show. It doesn't matter. No, actually it does, because it's being recorded. Okay. We are all up to date now with Stitcher. They have our Twitter, our Facebook, and our website. And oh, by the way, we are in 28, count them, not 27, 28 playlists.
Hey. Totally. And what do we have for voicemails tonight?
We have a Nikki G, a Lance, which is the that is you remember the Jeeper in Oklahoma that rolled his Jeep and passed away. I remember Pre-Runner 1982 talking about it.
Vaguely ringing some bells. I can't recall the exact details of the incident, though.
Yeah, that's about all I know. Anyway, they're putting his Lance is the guy that helped put together Stomper, and
okay.
And they're gonna be removing this the drivetrain from this rolled Jeep, and they're gonna put it in a 95 body. And you'll hear it in the audio segment. He was wanting us to I think do something on the website or something like that, and I recommended calling in a voicemail, and gets a little audience involvement, and also lets him say it from his heart. So they're just getting together. They're collecting money to try to help pay for getting this Jeep put together and back together. And they're going to give it to a individual that they feel the Jeeper that passed would have wanted the Jeep to go to this person. And like I say, you'll hear about it in the rather lengthy voicemail. So I was real glad Lance got around today to doing that.
Very good. Did we have any subconscious?
Yes, and we have a subconscious. 43 seconds. That rat bastard didn't put an intro on it, and he told me, he goes, "Oh, I'll put the intro. Can you mix it?" And I said, "Sure." It's a short audio thing. It'll be real quick. And then about 5:30 today, I got a message like, "Oh, I forgot to do the intro. I'll do it real quick." Yeah. And he's probably listening. Rat bastard.
Where did we want to put the Jeep tips?
It's up to you. My main concern, as we discussed, was getting the and I'll remind you about the. I'm not looking at the show notes right now. We just want the This Week in Jeep at the top.
Yep, I got that.
Okay.
And I put up the text that I used last week for the intro. And I don't know if you wanted to give that a shot this week or not.
Yeah, let me do that because you need to get warmed up and everything for This Week in Jeep.
So actually, I think we're going to do the Jeep tips right after the chit chat, because that'll be a nice segue from my snowy drive into some winching techniques.
And as I was mentioning, guys, we're just getting everything lined out here. I had a little technical difficulties with some new software we're using tonight, and having to spend a little time right now catching up. As usual, I spent a good hour and a half editing audio the time, and had I not, I would have had no chance in doing this. Okay. Yep. Okay, that's right. So as you see the Stitcher information, right?
Yes, I do. I just changed its size.
Oh, okay. So we'll do the speak pipe call last.
Yeah, I think that'll do give us a nice little wrap up on the show, and depending on time, we can either go long or go short with it. But I figured there's room for elaboration there on that one. So.
Yep. Let's not forget to do do all the standard plugs with YouTube and iTunes and Stitcher, especially. We have a nice big icon, or gosh, it's too big to be an icon. A nice big placard on the XJ Talk Show site now, towards the top, about Stitcher, which Stitcher was kind of appreciative of. I still don't like the audio quality that Stitcher has. It's not horrible, but it's not as good as the downloaded podcast, and it's not even as good as what YouTube plays back, and they're shooting video too. But maybe that'll change, especially if they get into automobiles. I think people are going to want to have that sound quality. Although AM radio has been traditionally the talk radio spectrum of choice, and certainly the audio quality wasn't all that great, especially if you were around any thunderstorms within 100 miles.
Yeah.
And I got to remember to look at you on Skype and not at the other screen. Although you may see me in the video looking over the other place, so I can cue things. Probably ought to move this and put the audio panel over there. See how that works out in the future.
Just do a quick screen juggle.
Okay. Anything else we need to go over?
Let me do one last scroll through stuff here. We got you got the intro or the opener 39A.
Yeah, I'm just going to check some audio levels real quick.
All right.
Try to make a decision on which one. Oh, I know which one we want to use. Hola. We'll use that one. And let's see.
And now, another message.
Oh, yeah. Load up the board.
Hey there, guys. This is Lance. Hey, this is Nikki G.
Yeah, they're all about right. That's good.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good on my end.
And let's see. We got this one.
It's good to be here again. We had a request the other day.
He's a little loud.
It almost sounded hot on
It's good to be here
end.
again. We had.
Yeah, he's got a lot of background noise in this one, and I did some notch filtering and all kinds of crap to clean it up.
It's good to be here again. We had a request the other day on xjtalk.com.
You wouldn't believe how much better that sounds.
Did you happen to see he replied to the private message you sent on xjtalk.com?
Yeah.
He had mentioned something about he has some computer issues that he's been dealing with recently.
Yeah, he's gone through this before, and I need to reply back to him and tell him there's no rush on it. I just after I saw a thing on Facebook today where a guy was talking about he winched the next door neighbor girl out with his Jeep, and she had a Honda. And I went, he says, no, and don't give me no hard time. I'm married. So, of course, everybody gave him a hard time.
Well, of course. Yeah.
You shouldn't say anything. I mean, you have a 50-50 chance the other way. So my response was, he said he was married. I said, not for long. And I said, where do you actually hook up to a Honda to pull it out? And somebody responded with, there's an actual tow point on the rear of the Honda. But I asked, what about the front? Because, I would think there's probably a pretty good chance that most of the time you could hook onto the back, as it's a good idea to winch from the rear anyway, because people usually get stuck going forward. But what do you do whenever you have to winch from the front? You can't hook onto to all the little soft parts on a Honda.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that's why I sent Steve the PM to see if he had some ideas about how to winch to help people out, and possibility of your personal liability if you choose to do that sort of thing. So see what he can comes up with. I think I need to move you around a little bit. Should have left you alone. That's about right. Don't sit up too high because people will think you're bald.
Oh boy. Scrunch down a little bit. Yeah.
I just flip the video so you have the hair on top, the hair on your chin on top. All right. Anything else?
That's good. Let's go ahead and roll.
Now for something completely different. Man who's addicted to brake fluid says he can stop at any time. For the full story, stay tuned till after the show.
Bienvenidos al XJ Talk Show, un podcast acerca de aventuras off-road en Jeep Cherokees y entrevistas con los que manejan y mueven el mundo de las carreras off-road. Ahora, aquí están sus presentadores, Tony y Josh.
I love that. It was such a great idea that you had getting that done up, Josh. And as you guys can tell, Josh is full screen tonight. He's 100% the entire screen. So we have a little bit of video mixing software. And as you can see on the screen, if you're lucky enough to be one of our video watchers, I'm Mutteroy, and my co-host there is Josh, Northwest 99XJ.
That's right. Yes, and we are here because of the web's most premier website, xjtalk.com.
Yep. And what is this? It's episode 115, and I'm just all excited, and I'm really wondering if I'm going to be able to handle 3 screens worth of stuff to do, Josh. I need to get some sort of remote control so you can help out over here.
Well, we're going to have to start hiring some people. That's all there is to it. With all this fancy new technology, man, we're going to have to get a producer or something.
So what you don't know is that we've got some video mixing software. And when I say you don't know, I'm talking about the audio-only podcast listeners. And damn it, this is just another good reason for you to join us on Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Central Time, so you can watch some of this madness and just wait to see how long it takes me to screw something up.
Yeah, you guys are definitely missing out. If you're diehard podcast listeners, we definitely appreciate the support, but it's a whole new ball game when you tune into the live show.
We have a green screen. This background behind me. That's not really there. This is like, weather, like they do on the weather shows, or the traffic. The traffic girl points at the traffic. I need to get a traffic map behind, and we can do traffic during the broadcast, Josh.
News, traffic, and weather and traffic and news come up on the 10s right now.
I think they do it on the 9s here.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's the 7s. I never pay attention. I just watch the weather and stuff. Do you know we actually had some sleet today? And the local weatherman on Channel 26, everybody was calling it snow. I think he even said it was snowing here. And it's a big deal in Southeast Texas to get snow. And some of the pictures and stuff were coming in on Twitter and Facebook. And he put one up, and he goes, now, if you look at this, you can see these are little round pellets. And this wouldn't be snow.
No, that would be called hail.
Well, in this case, it would be sleet because it was very, very small. So
Okay.
apparently social media gave him a hard time. I know I did. Because I was like, gee, Mike, can't you let us have some fun? Why do you have to tell us it's not snow? We don't get snow down here. So, and then he comes back after the break, after the commercial, and says, if it's sleet, if it's snow, it doesn't matter. It's fun. Backpedaling, son of a gun.
It's falling freezing precipitation. Or I was hearing something on the way home this afternoon. One of the news guys was kind of playing around with the whole chemtrails thing, and it's like, okay, these are, it's a prime example. Here it is. The chemtrails are falling out of the sky right now, and they're building up on your front porch.
Hey, personally, I think the picture looked like those little beads that come out of the beanbag, after you flop down on it too many times.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're getting a little off topic here.
Yes,
Tony,
we are.
So let's everybody know why we're here.
Yes, this is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, and the tech that you need to get there and back. We're here to promote the web's most premier website for all that is Jeep Cherokee. Well, not all, not the 2014, Josh. Anyway.
Well, yeah, not yet, at least.
The xjtalk.com, the friendliest and most helpful Jeep site on the web, and we're not lying. xjtalk.com encourages and answers all the questions and concerns the first-time XJ owners typically have without flaming or criticism. And that is true. We really make sure that's one of our main rules. All while giving you the best, most in-depth articles and write-ups for the repairs and modifications that take your average XJ to the next level. Now get ready. It's the XJ Talk Show. It starts right now.
First Week in Jeep.
Oh, I've got all kinds of good stuff to share with you guys this week. Chrysler makes some big bucks in 2013. So the Chrysler Corporation reported a net income of roughly $2.8 billion. That's billion with an M. On revenues of roughly $72.1 billion. Both of these figures are up considerably from those of 2012. As a result, Chrysler's some 37,200 unionized hourly employees in the U.S. will receive a nice little profit-sharing check of about $2,500. So if that cousin of yours in Ohio who works in the plant is still hitting you up for money, now would be a good time to tell him to go kick some rocks. China is next in line to get the 2014 Jeep Cherokee. Or is it? Well, they're going to be getting something, all right. Chrysler CEO Sergio Marchionne said in a 2-hour conversation with analysts earlier this week that Fiat would build and sell a version of the 2014 Jeep Cherokee in China, but it won't be the same vehicle that is currently for sale in the United States. The details of the differences are still unclear, but I'm betting that's going to have a diesel power plant and solid axles. So get ready, folks. Fire up those torches. Get out the pitchforks. I think we're about due for a march on Chrysler. Well, apparently all this has sprung up from a global demand for the Jeep we all love to hate, and a 79-day surplus of the sorry excuse for a Jeep here in the U.S. I guess you guys have been heeding our warnings here at the XJ Talk Show and have put a halt to the surge in sales of these things. The surplus is not only due to sales dropping off, but the fact that Cherokee's launch was a complete failure, and they kept building the things even though they weren't able to be sold due partly in fault for this buggy software, the 9-speed transmission. So a baby Jeep has hit the streets of Italy. And honestly, Italy should be hitting back. Because this thing looks more like a wad of clay that was stepped on, drooled on, and chewed upon before somebody got the bright idea of slapping a set of the ugliest wheels you've ever seen underneath it and calling it a Jeep. Now, I reported a while back that Jeep was threatening to make a compact SUV for the world market. Well, it seems they've done just that. It was some spy photos of this thing were shot here last week, and this hideous contraption was seen on the streets of Turin, Italy, where apparently test drives were taking place. Now imagine, if you will, a second-generation Liberty having sex with a rotten egg, and the offspring was then shoved into the surrogate mother of a Honda Element. The result is what Jeep is saying will be their next offering to the world of subcompact SUVs. They will not be calling it a Jeepster. Thank God. With a fairly vertical windshield and angular wheel wells, it will be debuted here in the U.S. sometime in March, which, if it falls into the footsteps of the 2014 Cherokee, means sometime the Fiat 500L, and will be offered in only 4-wheel drive. Both gas and diesel options, and will also come in a trail rig version as well. Aw, isn't that cute? It thinks it can go off-road. The model has yet to be named, but I'm leaning towards something along the lines of Kick Me.
Wow, what a bunch of negative Nellies we are.
I know. I'm just a horrible human being, aren't I? Hey, if you guys would like to submit a story to be aired on This Week in Jeep, send an email, please, to newstips@xjtalk.com. Just like longtime friend of the show, John has been doing for weeks now. He even hooked us up with these last 3 stories. Big thanks to John, pre-runner 1982. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, it's great. I see those coming in every week. And actually, this one came in today, didn't it?
Yeah, he sent me in. Well, I got one here in my inbox as well. So, I imagine it's the same thing.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that, John. And, you guys can get involved, too. You may not want to be on the camera. You may not even want to talk on our voicemail or be interviewed or do a segment. But, you can, just like John gets involved by sending us news stories. It makes our job a lot easier. Well, specifically, it makes Josh's job a lot easier because I don't read those things. He does.
Hey, I still got to write them.
Well, very nicely done, too. I didn't really think you had enough time to go through those things. Oh, and kudos on the pronunciation of the Dodge guy's name or the Chrysler's guy's name. I don't remember what it was, but it sounded good.
Sergio Marchione, yes.
Gesundheit. So let's let's get over to some of our newest YouTube subscribers. And I think you guys know how this works. We have a YouTube channel, and you can go over there and subscribe to it and look at the video feeds that we do here on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Central. Also, too, you can watch the recordings that we've done from the past shows. And we even have a few things that we throw in there that, some little videos of things that, mostly of things that have happened to me going back and forth to work. Now, honestly, the idea behind the dash cam was to take videos when I go off-road, and damn it, I will be going off-road because, that's
Attaboy.
That's what we do around here. We
that's what we built these things for, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm getting the itch. So I just want to welcome some of our newest YouTube subscribers. Johnny Sal is one.
We got Steven Zapper. He's another.
That reminds me of Eric Zappi, that last name.
Oh,
yeah, the book guy. And Jeremy West, thanks a lot for joining us there on YouTube. And one of you guys, all you guys need to do the same thing so we can read your name and you can read the great comments that people are leaving on YouTube for our videos.
Boy, last week's show was just chock full of comment. I can't believe that comment section was blowing up like that. It was a great show. We had a good time, and that comment section was busy the entire time. We've already got some comments popping up here, and you guys can see these comments. You head over after the show is released later in the week. You guys can go ahead and pop over to YouTube and check out the show. It's not obviously the live show, but you guys can still see the video portion of things, and you can see all those comments and stuff that people are leaving. So if you'd like to get a little bit of infamy there, you can pop over and make sure you subscribe to the XJ Talk Show on YouTube, and join us on the live shows, and you can go ahead and start leaving your own comments.
All right. Well, we did a little bit of chit chat. That's my fault at the top of the show. But now that we're actually in the honest to goodness segment of it, let's talk about this. Now, I don't know if you got anything in particular to talk about, but I want to ask you about your drive in.
Oh, okay. Well, here, before we get into that, I got to give thanks where thanks is due. Last week, I had mentioned to you guys that I'm going to be I've already started the research in some throttle body modifications. And throughout the conversation, a gentleman by the name of Dean Murray, he's got his own YouTube channel. He's also an XJ owner, and he owns one of the finest XJs that I've ever seen. Tony, it is red. And
of course,
and he popped up and mentioned that he has a donor throttle body that just laying around. He's got no use for it, and he was kind enough to send it to me. So we off the air and off the network and everything else like that, we exchanged some contact information. And sure enough, true to his word, he sent me out his old throttle body. Showed up a few days later in the mail, all wrapped up, priority mail in a box and everything. So big thanks to Dean Murray for doing that. I highly encourage you guys to go check out his YouTube channel and get a very nice view and a nice walk around of his very beautiful Cherokee that he's built up. So once again, thanks, Dean. Really appreciate that. I'll be doing some videos and modifications of that throttle body as the days go on. I probably won't be starting that for another week or two. I got some more research to do. Obviously, I'm going to have some tools and stuff that I'm going to have to get. But the plan is, at the very least, to bore that throttle body out. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to do as far as that, how big I'm going to go, whether it's going to be, 59, 60, 63 millimeters. I'm not sure exactly. I do have access to a machine shop, so that might come into play as well. I may do it all manually, may do it on a drill press. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but nonetheless, I'm going to be doing some videos. I'm going to be doing a write-up, of course, and of course, you guys are going to hear about all the details.
Now, I don't know if you guys were here last week or have seen or heard last week's show, but Dean offered this throttle body up to Josh during last week's show. And
that's right.
I'm amazed that you already have it. That's some good shipping. This guy must be this guy must be Amazon, because Amazon is the only other people I know that ships that fast.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, one, to come priority mail, and two, to come that fast.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to send it out the very next day, and sure enough, he did that very same thing. So I was very pleased, and it still took 2 or 3 days to get here, but sure enough, I got the package, and it's in the other room. I'd get up from the studio here and get up from the mic and go show that to you guys, but you all know what a throttle body looks like.
So now let's go to the snowstorm that you had to drive in.
Yeah.
Was it actually a storm, or was it already just laid down and you had to get through it?
Oh, no. Well, yesterday was sunny. It was beautiful. It was a little bit windy, not a cloud in the sky. It was a little bit cold and everything. And they've been threatening that we were going to be seeing some snow coming in later this weekend. Well, unbeknownst to the models, the software, the radars, whatever, there was a nice little low pressure system that was building offshore that picked up some moisture, and the jet stream pushed it right down. Actually, I guess it would be up. It pushed it up into us. It was tracking to hit a little farther south, and I think you got just the tail end of that with a little bit of that sleet that you saw today. We, however, got hit full force. A little bit southern Oregon. It's where the University of Oregon is. They got about 8 inches or so, and that was this afternoon. So by this evening, I'm sure they're probably sitting somewhere around 10 or 12 inches even. On my way home from work, it hit us about 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. Mm-hmm. And by about 1:30, we already had a good solid inch or two accumulation out by where I work. And I was like, okay, it's not stopping. It's getting worse. And I'm already seeing the traffic starting to build. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing stories about wrecks and stuff like that. So I decided, hey, with the kind of commute that I have, the distance that I have to travel to and from work, it'd be a good idea for me to leave. So I was like, guys, hey, I got to take off. I'm sorry. But if I don't do it now, there's a chance that I'm not going to make it home. So I hopped in the Honda. I drove the Honda today. It's I didn't drive the Jeep because I had some other family members here that I wanted to make sure that they were able to get around. And that's what I've got the Jeep for. So I can drive. I've driven through several snowstorms before. It's not a big deal. I've got the experience. I know how to drive in snow. And I was, confident in my own capabilities of being able to make it home. What I didn't count on was the amount of everybody else having the same thought of, oh, geez, the sky is falling. I must get home now. So once I got onto the freeway, it was an absolute gridlock. And my commute is about 30 miles, just shy thereof. And it took me just over 5 hours to get home. It was absolutely horrendous. I, for the better part of 4 hours, never made it out of first gear.
That's great. It is a standard that you drive, right?
Yeah. I was still driving the Honda. The Honda is a standard transmission 5-speed, and front wheel drive. It does okay. And I really had to work at it to break the wheels loose. But boy, man, my left leg is just killing me. All that clutch work, just absolutely horrendous. It was a brutal drive home. So I'm glad to be home. It took way too long. Almost got hit when I got off the freeway on the exit I take to make it home. Some jackass in a Dodge Durango came barreling down the hill way too fast, lost control, spun out, went over the divider that divides the arterial road that I travel up on off the freeway.
Oh my gosh!
And missed me by inches. I kid you not.
That
I
Honda is cursed. That Honda is cursed.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's a magnet at this point. I don't know. he was coming up over the hill, and it's just a slight rise. And I saw him I was like, wow, that guy's traveling pretty fast. And, by this point, I had already had a couple other close calls with, people who obviously had never seen snow in their life, trying to drive on the freeway. That was very entertaining. Dodging semis that were sliding backwards. That was also fun. So, my wits were about me. And so, I'm as I'm coming up over this hill a little bit, here comes this Dodge Durango. He completely loses it. I don't know if he got on it, if he tried a braking maneuver and completely failed. I have no idea what this jackass was doing, but he ended up spinning out. And it's just a little curb that divides the two lanes in each direction. Well, he came flying right over the top of that. I turned the wheel. You can't accelerate in the snow at all. All you can do is just keep your momentum and turn. So I jacked the wheel, and the front end of the Honda goes diving off to the left-hand side. He comes barreling across right in front of me and up over the curb and into a Burger King parking lot he goes. So that was a very close call, and that was by the time I got home, my heart was still racing, and I was like, "Oh, geez, just here. I just need to sit down for a little while."
So I know in the Northeast, people get this kind of weather every year. I mean, at least that's my impression, and they deal with it every year. How unusual is it to have a snowstorm like this in your area? It's way up north from here, so I'm assuming it's like once a year.
Well, it's interesting the way that the jet stream it works, and we get a little bit of a snow flurry every now and again. Every winter, it's not uncommon for us to see a little flurry here and there, but it's rarely ever accumulation that lasts. Even like last winter, we got snow I think maybe 2 or 3 times, but it was maybe an inch, less than an inch for sure, and it was gone by the next day. So it was nothing to really even see accumulation on the streets. It didn't stick around, and it was not that big of a deal. Now, other cities, further down south, they got hit a little bit more. Seattle got hit a little bit more. It seems to split right about where the Portland metro area is and goes a little farther north and a little farther south. Well, the last time that we got hit with anything remotely close to this was back in 2008. So, that's, several years ago. We're talking, here another 6 years. Prior, there's a lot of new drivers on the road. Obviously, I was encountering several of them on my way home. But yeah, we haven't seen anything like this for many, many years. So it is a little uncommon to get hit with multiple inches of snow. And I think right now we're sitting at about 4 inches, and there's talks of another 2 inches overnight. And we're going to be seeing a little bit of a break tomorrow. There's going to be some snow flurries tomorrow, but and then Saturday, we're going to get hit with another storm. And that's the one that they've been predicting for the last week or so that we're going to get hit with. And that's going to be about another 4 inches. So thankfully, I've been calling for it all winter long. I was like, please, can we get some snow out here? And we finally got some snow. So I'm going to be driving the Jeep tomorrow, and I'm going to fill up the tank. I'll probably head up after the podcast. Normally, I'd be heading straight to bed, but I'm going to make sure the Jeep is all ready. I'm going to load it up with my typical tools and supplies and everything else. I'm expecting I'm going to be using the winch a little bit tomorrow as well, and pulling some people out and stuff like that. So tomorrow should be relatively interesting.
So you are going to work tomorrow then?
Yeah. With the kind of work that I do and the high profile projects that I typically deal with, especially right now, I've got one on my desk right now that it needs to get dealt with, and so. I have the means of getting to work. I've already gotten, because I'm in a bit of a management position. I've got a couple guys that have texted me so far and said, yeah, there's no way I'm going to make it in tomorrow. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So I have to go in tomorrow. So I'm going to, the Jeep can make it. I have no doubts about that. So I'm going to make it in tomorrow. And I don't know how long I'm going to stay. I don't know if I'm going to put in a full day or not, but nonetheless, I'm going to show up, knock out a couple of projects, and we'll reevaluate the situation about lunchtime.
Yeah. Now, when you say you're a bit of a manager, that means that you have the responsibilities, but not the pay.
Unfortunately, you hit the nail right on the
head. Yeah, I've been around. I know. Josh, we really like what you're doing here, and we'd like to give you some extra responsibility, but it's just not in the budget right now, but we'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, something along those lines. God, those words sound really familiar.
Yeah, well, it's nice being having the additional responsibility. It's nice being trusted. So, I'm giving you a hard time, but there's nothing wrong with that. Now, so I guess, well, for what you guys don't know is Josh was giving me updates, and I'm sure he was giving me updates via text, so he would give me some idea if he was going to be able to make the show tonight or not. And God, what was it? You were 2.5 hours into your commute, and you had gone 5 miles.
Yeah,
and
I
think
right.
I think at the 3 hour mark, you had gone maybe 7 or 10 miles. I did some quick math, and I figured I'm doing half the show by myself. I honestly thought that, or it's like, here we go to the remote. Josh, are you there? Can you hear me?
Well, what's funny is I managed to get a little plug in for the show on a local news station this evening because they were asking for people to call in and report kind of, what were they calling it, neighbor to neighbor news reporting or something like that.
Shameless plug. God bless you.
Oh yeah. Come on now, you know me by now.
I'd be a little nervous about doing that though.
I called in and they did the typical screen phone screener thing and everything and by the time I had gotten actually on the air, I had traveled a little bit of ways, and there's a large tunnel that I go through every day, both coming in and going coming into work and coming home. And as I'm going through the tunnel, I noticed that the left lane had there was a wreck in the left lane. People were starting to go into the middle lane and stuff like that. And I see around the bend, and sure enough, there's 2 cars that had gotten in a little bit of a fender bender. And so I had just mentioned, I was like, oh, and really quick, guys, when we're traveling on westbound 26, we have a wreck in the left lane just through the Vista Ridge Tunnel. You guys might want to watch out. And the gal, the news anchor, or whatever that was on there, she's like, wow, you sound like you've done this before. You could be a traffic reporter. And I was like, well, I just so happen to be the host of the XJ Talk Show. It's a podcast that's heard around the world.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, we've got a celebrity here.
Well, that's great. Now,
and 30 seconds later, I get a call from one of our NAXJA members saying, hey, was that you on the radio?
Oh, wow. That's great.
Like, you goober. I was like, oh, yeah, that was me. So it was, yes, of course, it was a shameless plug, but it was also a little bit of fun too. So
if we have any listeners in your area, what station was it? And you're in Portland, right?
Yeah, it was Portland, and it was 101.1 KXL.
Gotcha. Did you use your radio voice?
No, I thought about it, but I wanted to keep it, fairly mainstream, if you will. But I know how radio works. I've worked with radio stations in the past and stuff, and obviously a semi-veteran podcaster. I was be sure to speak clearly and enunciate. I had my windows up. I was traveling at a low rate of speed. The fan was off. The windshield wipers were off, and everything like that. It was a conducive environment for clear audio. So and maybe that added to the remarks that I got from the the anchor person, but nonetheless, it was kind of cool, and I was glad to plug the show. So,
well, that's really cool. That's a great story. So, well, at least you made it. That's the main thing. Hey, now speaking of the Honda, I know that we've been going through the Honda saga. If you guys don't remember, Josh's Honda was stolen out of his driveway, and it wasn't a mercy stealing like you might think it was. It was actually stolen by probably a tweaker, and there was a high-speed pursuit. There was a canine chase involved when the guy exited the vehicle and ran. I mean, this is like, I was going to say the OJ chase, but it wasn't anything like that. This guy was actually hauling butt, and the canine tracked him down and then held him, and Josh got the Honda back. That's what he was driving today, but not after getting some damage, about $4,000 worth of damage, I think, on it. And so bring us up to date, Josh, on what's going on with the trial for this tweaker dude.
So I spoke with somebody in the restitution department, and they said, don't hold your breath for a large lump sum of cash for the reimbursement. It's all based upon the perp's ability to pay. And I was like, well, I doubt he has any ability. He's a 20-year-old tweaker. And she kind of laughed and giggled and stuff. And she's like, well, what are you calling for? And I was like, well, I kind of wanted to get an update on this, but I also got the subpoena in the mail. And it says that there's a trial set for next week. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be able to make that trial as they're calling me as a witness of the state on behalf of this whole crime here. So I have to go in and do the testifying and stuff like that. So I imagine I'm going to get my few seconds of cross-examination and all that sort of stuff. Honestly, I have no idea how this works. I'm just going off what I've seen on TV.
Sure.
So yeah, so I have no idea whether or not the kid's going to show. I'm sure that he is supposed to. Whether he does or doesn't, I guess would depend on how much crack he smoked that week. So
that's right, because they released him, right? So he's out running around, and you're keeping an eye on your Honda.
Yep, that's exactly right. So I there's a chance that I may get to, for all intents and purposes, confront the guy who stole my car. So at least give him an evil eye. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, and I don't know if you guys have ever had anything stolen, even if it wasn't a whole vehicle, just anything out of your house or maybe your locker at school, or somebody breaks into your car and takes something and doesn't take the whole car. It's you feel like you've been violated. Somebody's disrespected you by going into something that is yours, and they've touched it. It kind of sounds silly and girly, but I remember getting something stolen out of my car back when I was like 16, 17 years old. And it was a CB, and it was actually one that was broken that I fixed. And I think I got it for free. So, I mean, I may have lost $5 or $10, but just the idea behind it, this really pissed me off.
Yeah, I have a special finger on my hand for the thieves out there. I've had stuff stolen out of cars before, CD books and things like that. A cell phone at one point in time. That was a long time ago. And nothing for many, many years, which is, a good thing. And then all of a sudden I, come out one Saturday morning and, going to leave and realizing that my car is not where I had parked it. So yeah, that began the whole, Honda theft saga.
Well, it's like you say, you blink, you look around, you go, wow, I parked it. Well, maybe somebody moved it. Oh, did the brakes fail? Did the emergency brake fail? And, did it plummet down the road? I mean, everything's a 45-degree angle in Portland, right?
Well, yeah, I do live on a hill, and it's funny you mention that, because that exact same thought process was going to my head. I was like, I'm trying to come up with a reason as to why my car is not where I had left it. And the very first thought through my head was, oh, I wonder if the brakes failed or something like that. And it rolled down the hill. So of course my first look was downhill to see if my, car is in the neighbor's lawn or something like that, or up against the mailbox or something. And sure enough, it was gone. It was not just around the corner.
Well, I would imagine it's kind of a relief from the liability standpoint that when you realize that, you're kind of pissed because somebody stole it, but at least it didn't fail and drive into somebody's yard, and you got to go over there and apologize and go, bad Honda, bad.
Sorry about your living room. That's my car. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm very glad that I didn't have to go through that conversation. I mean, yeah, I don't wish this experience on anybody. It sucks. Not only the loss and the panic and the frustration and everything else that comes, emotionally wise with the loss of something like a car, being stolen. But everything else that goes with it, the phone calls, the trip down to the courthouse, all of a sudden, having to go and retrieve the car. And in my case, having to clean it with, all the crap that was left behind and everything. So, yeah, it's not something I wish on anybody, but glad it's over. Well, mostly over.
Yeah. Well, glad you made it. And I was really surprised that you actually made it so quick. Hey, speaking of commutes on ice and stuff, I thought it would be kind of fun, since we have this video mixing software and some time, that I play one of the videos that you can see on YouTube, whether or not you're a subscriber or not, but it makes us feel a lot better if you are. This is one of my icy commutes to work. And remember, I'm in the Houston area, and this doesn't happen very often. So people were losing their frickin' minds. And I'll just apologize in front if this is up front, if this audio is a little too loud. We'll work out the bugs on this thing as we use it. There's no audio on this thing, so I'll just do a little audio commentary. As you can see, people were cruising along just like they would normally, 75, 80 miles an hour in a 60. That's standard. And then they hit the ice. And this is a great example of a rear-wheel drive and a front-wheel drive, both on the ice. You can see that neither one gets to go anywhere very quickly.
Yeah, I was experiencing a lot of that on my commute home. It was funny. It was actually semi-trucks were stopping in the middle of the freeway. I mean, we were all jam-packed and everything in there. And I mean, nobody was really, traveling very fast. Heck, I was even stopping every, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so, getting out of the car and de-icing my windshield.
Oh, wow.
Because things were it was building up so bad. But there was this one trucker who had chained up his big rig, and he chained up the wrong wheels. I'm rolling down the window and I'm pointing at him and trying to get him to roll his window down and be like, hey, you chained up the wrong drive wheels. Come on, buddy. And I don't think he spoke any English, but boy, yeah, Tony, your dash cam, these cars are slipping and sliding everywhere.
Yeah, now I know this isn't a big deal for you, you people up north, Midwest, mid part of the country, where you see lots of ice and snow every year, but we just don't see this down here. So it was really interesting to see. Now, as you can see in the video, there is a big rig, 18-wheeler driving right through there, and he didn't have any problem at all. So I guess he knows that there's a certain level of ice that he needs to go through, but before he has to worry. Look at the cop sliding. It reminds me of penguins sliding on the ice. It was really cool. Now, this was all fun and games, and I'm very much focused in front of me. I'm not a looky-loo. I'm getting from point A to point B in the best time I can. I did not see this until I was reviewing the video. I mean, I saw the cop, but I did not see this car. It has the nose of that vehicle is just mashed flat. So really hoping that somebody wasn't severely injured in that. And, so it's all fun and games until somebody totals a vehicle.
Yeah, it's a darn shame because and it's like the overpasses and the bridges and stuff. Those get hit the hardest with the stuff. They build up the ice the fastest. They don't have the insulation of the ground underneath them, and so you get that black ice. And if you're not preparing for it, you're not watching, you're not careful, it's going to sneak up on you, and you're going to end up in a guardrail.
Yep. Well, then that's some of the things that you can see on our YouTube channel. Josh is going to be sharing some stuff with us real soon because he recently got a GoPro, right?
That's right. I did get a GoPro for Christmas, and been racking up the videos, trying to figure out this GoPro editing software. I think I don't quite have the system resources for video editing.
It takes a lot.
Yeah, it's great for all the audio work and the DJ stuff that I do and everything and the voiceover and all that stuff. But when it comes to video editing, boy, it really lags down the system resources. And I have not had a chance to really edit the videos the way I want to. I was hoping that it was just going to be a matter of, uploading the video into the software and being able to take stuff out and put stuff in and whatnot. But no, the GoPro video software requires a fair amount of system resources, and I just don't think I have it to work very fast with it. So I may just put up the videos raw as they are. It's not really what I want to do. It's not the experience that I wanted to provide you guys. But nonetheless, I'll get some GoPro footage up here on the YouTube channels here very soon.
Well, what you might want to do is throw that up on our Dropbox. And I can edit it and do some things to it and wrap some XJ Talk stuff around it and, pretty it up before we send it to the ball. And it gets pregnant and then we have to chastise it.
Yeah, the audio with the GoPro is not great. You can hear the camera kind of rattling around a little bit and whatnot. So, I was going to do a music bed over them and whatnot to, clean things up a little bit and take out the stuff where we're just stopped there and we're going over a map or, something like that. The boring stuff, take all that stuff out and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it is, I think it's 1080p, 30 frames per second video.
That's the reason why it takes so much processing power is because each one of those frames is really big. I mean, 3 minutes of, you take 3 minutes of audio, you may be looking at 5 meg of data. That same 3 to 5 minutes in audio and video is going to be like 50.
Right. So the files are pretty big. There's a couple in there that are substantial in length. And so I got to go through them. I've got them all labeled, and they're all, kind of the file management is there and everything. But yeah, I got to get those videos up to share with you guys because it's been a few weeks now, and I know you guys are deserving of some wheeling footage because not all you guys can wheel this time of year. So I'll be happy to share with you guys some of my trail experiences recently.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating. How would you like to be a guest on the XJ Talk Show? Do you have an interesting story about your Jeep, maybe an off-road adventure? Perhaps you're a vendor and want to get the word out about your great products. Send us an email to interviews@xjtalk.com or call and leave a voice or text message at 530-675-4102. 530-675-4102. We look forward to hearing from you.
I know you've heard us talk about Amazon on the podcast before, but have you heard about our new game?
You bought what?
It's a lot of fun, and we want you guys to play along. All you have to do is go to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and click on the Amazon banner there on the main page. This takes you right to Amazon, where you can buy any crazy little thingamajig to join in on the fun. Amazon gives us a list every week of what you guys are buying, but we don't get to know who it is that's buying it. As an added bonus, you get the same great price you always would, and Amazon is going to give the show a small pittance for you playing along. So let's all have some fun. The XJ Talk Show and Amazon.com.
And now for a disclaimer. Jeep Tips is for entertainment purposes only. If you choose to follow these tips, man up and take the responsibility for your own actions. If you cannot, or you feel that working on your Jeep is beyond your abilities, seek the help or advice of a trained, certified mechanic.
Got a tip? We do. It's time for Jeep Tips.
And once again, here's Steve. You know him as 4.3 LXJ from the xjtalk.com premier Jeep Cherokee website.
It's good to be here again. We had a request the other day on xjtalk.com to discuss winching and safety and related things like that. So I thought maybe we should pay attention to our requests, and I do this little segment on winching. Now, winches are a great thing. We all want them if we don't have them, and if we have them, we love them, and they're a great insurance policy. And they allow you to go places that you might not go otherwise by yourself because you've got that insurance policy hanging on the bumper. And personally, I'm going to put a winch on my back bumper too. But there's some things you need to know about them. They're not just an idiot-proof thing that you hang on the front. And the first thing that you need to know is, how big of a winch do I need? And the answer to that is you just need to take the weight of the vehicle and double it. And that should be the pound rating of your winch. So let's say we have a typical Jeep XJ that weighs 3,800 pounds. Throw some stuff in it, tools, whatever, and we probably get close to 4,000. So we should have at least an 8,000 pound winch. And now, since winches have gotten popular, it's easy to get a 9,000 pound winch for about the same money. The first winch that I bought was a 9,000 pound, and I got it for the price of the 8,000. So they're very similar. You can't even tell a difference looking at them. And currently, I have a 9,500 pound winch on the front of my Jeep. So that's about what we should have, 8,000 or 9,000 pounds. I think 12,000 pounds for a winch would be overkill on our Jeeps. So when you get your winch, you have you get your bumper and you get all put on there nice and solid and so forth. And one of the things that you might want to ask yourself, do I want cable line or synthetic? Cable comes standard and is cheaper. And synthetic costs more, has some advantages. First of all, synthetic is light, so if weight's a consideration, that's a good thing. It's easier to pull because of that. It doesn't kink, and that's an important thing, and it tends not to pinch. But it doesn't take abrasion, and one of the things is if you wheel a lot in the rocks, you don't want these winch lines to touch any rocks while you're winching, because it'll just wear right through them in a hurry and they'll break. And the other thing that I have a question about is mud. I think it could be that we could make a case for if you get a lot of mud inside of that synthetic, it would eventually act like little itty-bitty microscopic knives and weaken the synthetic line. And I know they break. Even though they may be rated for 19,000 pounds, they'll break, and it's because they get weak because of the fibers being cut. And the other thing is heat. Now, Warren, with their synthetic line, they have a special synthetic that goes on the first wrap of the drum so that if the drum gets hot, it doesn't weaken the line, and they won't take heat, so you got to keep them away from heat sources. Which means that if you're using your winch to pull multiple times, you can transfer enough heat through the drum to weaken your winch line. So that's a consideration also. Now, what about cable? Well, it's heavy, it's cheap, it can kink or it can have burrs. And if you kink a winch line, it's important to get it straightened out and not try to pull that way, because if you try to pull with the kink in it, it'll break. They just don't take that tight of a bend without having a problem with the steel that they're made out of. The other thing is that over time you can get burrs on them. It is a safety issue. If you're handling it, you want to wear gloves so that it doesn't rip your hands up, and they will. It'll make a nice cut in the palm of your hand before you even know it. And the other thing is that every time you get one of those little burrs, let's say you've got 20 strands in your winch cable, when you break one of those, you have just made your cable 5% less strong than what it should be. So that's something you need to think about. If you start getting too many burrs on your cable, you should replace it, because it's probably going to break on you when you need it the most. The other thing that we need to be worried about is getting pinched, and cables will get pinched. And so when you get your winch and it's got this nice neatly wound cable on there, the first thing you need to do is unwind it and hook it up to a car with the emergency brake on slightly, and re-spool that line neatly under about 500 pounds of pressure, and this will help keep your cable from kinking underneath. And when you get done using your winch, after you're done wheeling, you need to do the same thing. You need to maintain this cable, so you need to unspool it and wind it back up neatly. Now, the other thing is that when you're using cable, is that when you always end up pulling to the side somewhere. You should try to pull as straight on as you can, but it just never seems to work. So you end up pulling from the side, and it bunches all up on one side. And pretty soon you can get enough cable there that it starts to rub on the bumper. And when it does, it won't free spool anymore, and you're going to have a good time getting that out. So when you are winching with cable, you should always winch for a little while, and if it starts getting bunched up and it starts, trying to get pinched and so forth, if you can, stop your winching, unspool it, spool it back up neatly, and then winch a little more. And you may only be able to winch about 20 or 30 feet at a time. Maybe you only need to winch that far. But it'll save your cable, and it'll keep it from breaking when you need it the most. Now, the other thing is that you shouldn't use your winch cable as a tow strap. It's not made for that, because it'll start getting whipped around, and it'll start making burrs on the cable, and it'll weaken it. And it's not designed for that. A winch cable is to be used for a pulling device and not a driving and a tow strap. So get it where it can spool as straight as possible. So spot your rig, get it straight on, and if you're pulling another vehicle out, winch for a little while. If it starts getting bunched up, have somebody set the brakes, back off, and do it again. Now, you can't always do that, because if you're winching yourself out of a mud hole or something like that, and you got to winch a ways, you just have to go for it. And if that's the case, go for it. Now, one of the things we need to know is the size of cable we have. Now, when we have an 8,000-pound winch, it's been traditional to have 5/16 aircraft cable on it. And we just happen to have the same size on 9,000-pound and 9,500-pound winches. And this is just kind of an industry standard. But one thing you need to know about that 5/16 aircraft cable is that it has a 9,000-pound test on it, which means that you shouldn't use it with more than 9,000 pounds pull. So it is possible to overstress your cable a little bit, particularly when you start getting burrs or if you have a kink. So when you are in a real hard pull, you want to keep that cable in as good a shape as you can, because you're really getting up towards its limits already. And it's kind of like fishing line. It's an 8-pound test line will take 8 pounds and then some, but after 8 pounds it starts to stretch. And the same thing will happen to your cable, and eventually it'll fail. Now, when you wind up your cable on your spool and you've got this 9,000-pound rating on it, how much pull do you have? Well, that 9,000-pound rating on the winch is only for the first wrap of the cable on the drum. Once you get to the second layer, that goes down. And by the time you've spooled all the line onto your winch and it looks nice and pretty and it's full and you're really admiring it, you need to know that it's only half of the rating at that last wrap. So that 9,500-pound winch on that last wrap is only good for about 4,000 pounds. So if you need to, in a hard, short pull, you might need to double cable with a snatch block. Now, when you're hooking this cable up to something, you really need to make sure that it's hooked up correctly and on something solid, because if it is on a vehicle and a piece of that vehicle lets go, that hook and that cable is going to come back at you, because cable is elastic, whereas synthetic is not. It'll just lay there. But that cable will come back at you like a big rubber band. And that hook and whatever else is on it is going to come at you, and it'll hurt you bad. So you just need to be aware of that. So do not stand over the cable. You should put a weight on it of some kind, a coat. If you don't have anything else, take your jacket off, lay it over the middle of it, so if it does give way, it's not going to come rocketing back at you. Use gloves with cable, not a bad idea with synthetic either. And when you hook to a tree, I've seen this done many times. You walk up to a tree, it looks nice and solid, and you hook to the middle of it, nice and waist high. You don't have to bend over, and everything's fine. But it may not be. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, for instance, like Josh does, and all the trees are the same age and they're grown close together and so forth, they really don't have much of a root system, and it's possible to pull a tree over onto your vehicle, and that would be really, really embarrassing. So always hook to the base of the tree. That's where it's strong. And in fact, if you don't even have a tree, you can hook to the base of a shrub. The last time I used my winch to pull myself out, I used a bush around here called a buckeye, and it didn't have branches more than about 2.5 inches thick coming out of the base of it. But I was able to winch myself out because the cable was right around the base. So even a good piece of brush can be a great anchor point as long as the cable is at the bottom. And always make sure that you attach to a tree at the bottom, unless maybe you've got an open-grown oak tree which has roots that go to China and is never going to go anywhere. So the important thing is safety, safety, safety when you're using these winches, because you can get hurt, and you can also cost yourself some money. You don't want to have to go replacing your cable every time you use it. Good luck with your wheeling.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
This is Richard Goatman Gautier with Team Naxja, Petty Cash Racing the 4643 Jeep Cherokee and Ultra 4, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Yeah, we want to say good luck out there to Richard Goatman. He's actually at the King of the Hammers right now. I think we were talking about it earlier. I can't remember if it was the pre-show or the impromptu chit-chat.
A little bit of both, and there's been some discussion on xjtalk.com as well. If you guys would like to figure out how he's doing, Richard Goatman Gautier racing the Team Petty Cash XJ right now at King of the Hammers. In fact, I was watching him go through some of the rock sections earlier this afternoon and just tearing it up. So hope Team Petty Cash Racing is doing pretty well. I can't check in on the live stats right now while we're doing the show. Otherwise, I'd love to give you guys an update. But if you'd like to go see how Team Naxja is doing, our Team Petty Cash Racing, or your favorite racer over at King of the Hammers right now, head over to ultra4racing.com/live for live updates, including a live video stream. That's ultra, ULTRA, the number 4, racing.com/live.
Yeah, that's great. Best of luck. And we'll have to get him back on the on here after the King of the Hammers, as well as Matt from the Team Petty Cash Racing group, one of the drivers, that 24-hour Le Mans race. Lemons pronounced strangely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They definitely have a good race team going on over there, and I can't wait to have them back on the show and hearing all the updates.
Hey, we want to remind you guys about the Stitcher thing. It's called Josh refers to it as Stitcher Radio. Does it actually say Stitcher Radio? You know,
I thought it did.
It probably
now
does.
That you mentioned something, you have me second guessing myself.
Well,
so.
it's a lot like radio, except it uses the internet and your smartphone. And you know, I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not, but Stitcher actually was talking to some people at the latest CES, auto manufacturers, because they're trying to get in bed with these manufacturers so that they can have the podcast the ability to listen to podcast in the car. I mean, this is the next big thing, guys, where you have, satellite radio came out, but could you imagine a near infinite number of mediocre podcasts you could listen to?
Yeah, they're not just talking about it. There's actually several manufacturers, including Land Rover, and
that's right.
think, there's a couple others I used to have memorized. I forgot now because it's been a couple months now since I've read the article, but there is mobile infotainment systems is what they're adding to vehicles now starting next year. And these systems, and I'm sure Ford is going to pick up on this very quickly with their sync system. But Stitcher is on board with these manufacturers, and they are going to be a part of the software that comes with the vehicle. So no longer having to fiddle with your phone and stuff like that. You can actually upload or download or stream, rather, your favorite XJ Talk show here within your new car through the software that's actually part of the vehicle. So very exciting information there. Maybe we'll have to, once that debuts, maybe at the auto show or maybe at a dealership here next year, pop in there and maybe do a quick YouTube video showing the XJ Talk show on the dashboard of a brand new car.
Oh, do you know, we actually do have a contact inside of xjtalk.com, one of our members that deals with new vehicles. And we might actually be able to do that, because I know, if the 2014 Jeep Cherokee has that in it, I won't ever see it. So we'll have to find another vehicle that has it. Actually, I'm going to, that's Jim Brasscats on xjtalk.com. I'm going to send him a message tomorrow and tell him to keep an eye out, because that would be a cool thing to do. Actually do a little video and pull up one of the XJ Talk Show podcast and playing on the nice surround sound stereo system in that vehicle. So that's a great idea, Josh. So speaking of Stitcher, if you are currently listening to our show on Stitcher, in as much as not the live show, but the recording, you're ahead of the curve. You actually figured it out without a major manufacturer having to figure it out for you. Well, barring the smartphone, somebody figured that out. But you know what I'm saying here. So we'd really like for you guys, obviously, for plugging sake, to go over to Stitcher and give us a review. We do have one review, and God bless him, Nicky G. He's always first with voicemails, and he's also first for Stitcher review. Nicky G gives us a 5 out of 5 stars, of course. You can give us anything you want as long as it's more than 4 stars. But anyway, Nicky G says, totally informative and entertaining, funny and full of information on everything Jeep Cherokee. They talk about everything from routine maintenance to off-road safety and everything in between. The chemistry between the two hosts, Tony and Josh, that's me, is electric and keeps the show flowing at a good pace. Listener participation.
Yeah, what he said.
Participation is encouraged in numerous ways to join in. Those guys call... Oh, this part. Those guys that call in crack me up. Plug.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you, Nikki G, for popping over there, and I guess would be calling popping the cherry on the Stitcher Radio reviews. Guys, please, it's just like iTunes. You head over there, you give us a 5 out of 5 star review, you leave a little bit of comment, and well, of course, we'll put it on the air.
And if for some reason, Josh, do any vehicles currently have the Stitcher built in or podcast built in? Did you read anything about that?
You know, I from what I read, from what I remember reading, it's not going to be available until 2015. So, which means probably around September, October or so, when the new vehicles start coming out for the following model year, we'll start seeing some of that technology. You know, you may see some of those this summer in some sneak peeks. You may start even seeing them. All the auto shows are making the circuits right now. So I know that we have an auto show going on this weekend, in fact, here in Portland. But with the weather and everything, I'm probably not going to make it down there. But if you have an auto show in your city, I would highly recommend heading over there and just checking out the new vehicles, seeing what's out there. And if you get a chance to throw a spitwad on the new Cherokee, go ahead and no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kidding, guys. But no, go check out some of that new technology. There's a chance that you're going to see some of this Stitcher Radio stuff embedded in the vehicles that are being debuted in the new auto shows going around.
Well, then I won't say if you're currently using the Stitcher technology that's built into a vehicle. We'll wait for that. But, you know, it strikes me that it'd be fun to hear from you guys on our 24-hour by 7-day-a-week voicemail line and let us know how you listen to the podcast. What do you do? Oh, yeah. What software do you use? Is it PC based? Do you use Stitcher? Do you only watch the video on YouTube? Frankly, I can't believe anybody would sit through an hour or hour and a half video. Well, actually 2 hours with the pre-show and post-show, Josh.
Yeah, with all the content that we're shoving down your guys' throats. Oh no, yeah, we love to have some fun here on the XJ Talk Show, and yeah, we're definitely giving you guys lots of content. We definitely encourage you guys to give us a call, and like Tony said, it is a 24/7 voicemail line, so you don't have to worry about anybody answering it and asking you a bunch of weird questions or anything like that. But yeah, give us a call. Doesn't matter how many adult beverages you've had, it's okay. Give that number a call. It's 530-675-4102. Let us know how you listen to the XJ Talk Show.
Also, too, I know that some of you guys are kind of concerned about screwing up whenever you leave a voicemail. That actually happened today, and I told the guy on chat that, hey, just keep doing it. We'll use the last one. So don't worry about it. We're not going to put anything out there that's going to make you look bad. I mean, that's not our goal, not unless you're the 2014 Cherokee.
The magic of editing.
Yes. So let's get to those voicemails, Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nikki G. 6 more weeks of winter. Can you believe it? I want to grab that groundhog and cram my foot up his hole, if you know what I mean. It's bad when even the rodents are arguing global warming with Al Gore. The only good thing about the groundhog's prediction is that's 6 more weeks I could drive around without my eyeballs glued to a temperature gauge. All right, gentlemen, I will chat you later. You have a good one. Bye.
Exactly. Oh, and here's another Josh. It's becoming one of the most fun segments. Josh's subconscious.
Oh boy,
we really appreciate your other half of your brain helping us out, Josh.
Well, you know, I guess I do what I can.
And now another message from Josh's subconscious.
Yoo-hoo! Wow, that interview with Fat and Audrey Kidd was super. Man, she's got a great name. Man, I can't believe that nobody has hired me yet to go and sit in their Jeeps and keep them from being stolen. Maybe I need to change the name of my new business. Something like, I don't know, Bear Scare Anti-Theft or something. I'm sure it's a whole lot better than Rainbow Fart Protection. Yep, definitely. Oh no, I'm missing my favorite Backstreet Boys concert.
You gotta love those Backstreet Boys, right?
Yeah, I think that's actually in page 32,749 of the Obamacare bill. Gotta love the Backstreet Boys. And on to a little more serious note. Here's Lance. You know him as one of the folks that put together Stomper for the Huttons, and he's doing another project for a Jeeper that, well, not for the Jeeper, but using the Jeeper that lost his life recently in Oklahoma. And they're putting together his old Jeep that rolled, and going to be giving it to somebody. Well, I'll let you hear what he has to say.
Hey there, guys. This is Lance. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, associated with the Oklahoma Jeepers. I'm calling on behalf of Oklahoma Jeepers and our good friend Todd Snyder. On August 5th, 2013, our good friend Todd Snyder passed away due to a misfortunate accident on the highway in his XJ. And he was an awesome part of the Jeep community. Had a lot of friends here in Oklahoma and Oklahoma City and all the groups. And we didn't want his Jeep to go to waste. So we decided to get together with Oklahoma Jeepers, and we are going to be rebuilding his Jeep. We're taking the motor, the suspension, all the powertrain out of it, and swapping it over into a 95 XJ. After we get done completing this, the Jeep is then going to be donated to Freelings Off-Road, located in Tallahena, Oklahoma. This was Todd's favorite place to go. He knew the owners very, very well, went out there to help keep trails maintained and things like that. And the owner of the land doesn't have a vehicle to come out and play. Usually she, hops in another free seat and goes right along with everybody else. So we decided this is going to be the best opportunity for her to, both also, have a vehicle and be able to come play and also maintain the park a little better. Todd had a huge heart, was one of the most selfless Jeepers on the trail or in your home. It was definitely a big, big loss to the Jeep community here in Oklahoma City. And, we're just going to try to return the favor to the off-road community and, show how much he meant to all of us. We've got that we would love to have as part of the build, just to kind of make it that extra, moment. Since this isn't really a shop building it, it's, a bunch of guys and girls getting all together in the garage and doing our thing. But, anything, whether it's little or small, definitely helps. If anybody wants to, keep up with it, there's also a Facebook page that I made. Talk and kind of follow along whenever we have the build days on it and things like that. Everybody that listens to the show is a follower and keeping in touch. And if you'd like to help out at all, we have PayPal, and we also, of course, would love to chat with you on the Facebook page. Talk to you later, and thanks for listening.
I'll just mention real quick, Lance contacted me, I guess maybe it was last week, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and told me about this. And Josh and I made a donation of $25 to this project, and Lance did a lot of good work for the Huttons and Stomper. If you don't recall, that's the JK that was damaged in the F5 tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, and was used, totaled. It was used by Brian Hutton to rescue people and objects out of these matchsticks that were left over after that massive tornado came through. So Lance was involved in getting the Huttons back to them in better than new condition.
Well, another absolutely honorable and very noble Jeep cause coming out of Oklahoma once again. And we actually have a listener on board on our YouTube channel right now during the live show, Pete from Oklahoma Jeepers. And he's gone ahead and given us permission to give out an email address. If you guys would like to learn more about how you can get involved in this project, or keep up to date on what's going on, the developments and everything like that, or figure out how to donate even, He encourages you guys to please reach out to him with any questions that you may have. The email is oklahomajeepers@gmail.com. Just like it sounds, oklahomajeepers@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes, and you can see the website information at the bottom of your screen, the whole show. But for you people that are just listening and not seeing the audio, it's xjtalkshow.com. XJ, you should know. Damn it. If you don't, we still love you. But anyway, and a talk show, because we talk, and it's a show, and .com.
Well, all very cool. I can't wait to see how this project turns up. I'm definitely going to be following that as things go along, and we'll be making sure that we go ahead and give you guys some updates throughout the weeks as this goes on through the XJ Talk Show as well. So look forward to that.
Hey, Josh, I was shocked, and not so much dismayed, but I got an email the other day, and we received a voicemail on SpeakPipe, and SpeakPipe has just been sitting there not being used, and we haven't been pushing it. And lo and behold, somebody uses it. So if you go to that website I just mentioned, xjtalkshow.com, over to the right-hand side, I have to think about it because I don't know my left or my right. If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see a little sideways tab. You click on that, it'll actually open this little thing where you can leave a message to us straight from your computer to this service, and we get this great audio that we can play here on the show. And in fact, we have some comments and some questions from somebody that left us a message on SpeakPipe.
Hey guys, love the show. Been enjoying the podcast. Question, I have a 99 and a 2001 XJs. I love both of them. I've collected them over time. They're both running, but they need lifts, and I just can't decide which lift kits. I'd kind of like them to match. I'd love to go huge, but I don't want to create maintenance nightmares. So I'm thinking 3 inches of lift, but I'm just not sure which way to go. There's a million lift kits out there, and so I'd just love to hear your suggestions on lift kits and what the best way to go. Thank you very much. Love the show.
Hey, I don't know, but the thing I noticed the most was he said love the show twice, the beginning and the end. And the question is important, but that's my favorite. That was the sandwich. Actually, that was a reverse sandwich because that was the meat on both sides with the bread in the middle.
Yeah. Well, no, that's very cool. I very much like the voicemails and the SpeakPipe too. That's definitely way cool. And you guys can join in on that too. Just like Tony said, you head over to xjtalk.com, click over on the on a little tab on the right-hand side, and you guys can leave a voicemail basically through your computer. And we'll go ahead and get that and play that on the air like we just did. Well, to get to the soup and nuts here of this question, 2 late model XJs. First off, awesome. You got a 99. That's a very cool XJ right there. I myself have a 99, and obviously I have gone extreme. But you want to stay around the 3-inch range. That's actually perfect. You went ahead and already dialed in kind of the lift range that you're looking for to avoid those things that you'd get into with getting into a 5.5 or 6.5 inch lift or beyond. There are a lot of very good entry level kits out there that will get you what you're looking for in that 3-inch range. And usually, when you're talking about inches for Jeeps here, it's about $100 an inch or so. A 2-inch lift is going to run you about a couple of $100. A 3 to a 4-inch lift, well, it's going to run you about $300 or $400. When you get into the 4.5-inch lift kits is when they start getting into the more extreme kits. They usually has a lot more that goes into it, and they generally step into a much higher dollar range. But you can get into a good, solid 3-inch lift kit from like Rough Country or Rubicon Express. Both come with everything that you're going to need, and you're not going to have any surprises along the way, except for maybe the occasional broken bolt and things that usually come with, when you're working on an XJ. And I'm not sure what part of the country you're in, but, I always recommend before you do any work like a lift kit on a Jeep or anything like that, start spraying things down with PB Blaster or Croil or some other penetrating oil weeks in advance. I'm talking every day going out there and spraying every single bolt that you can that you're going to be turning or working on liberally with this penetrating oil before you get going. But like, for instance, the Rough Country 3-inch kit is about $360. Comes with new leafs, all 4 brand spanking new shocks, some lift coils up front, and a couple other knickknacks and goodies that you're going to need to make that lift kit work for your vehicle. And so again, it depends on what kind of ride quality that you're looking for, and really the ultimate decision factor is going to be the kind of budget that you're looking for, or that you're looking to spend. So if you're really trying to pinch those pennies, you may want to piece together some stuff from Craigslist. You mentioned you want things to match, but again, it comes down to budget. You can't go wrong with something like Rough Country or Rubicon Express. The 3-inch lift range, it's going to cost you anywhere between $300 and $400, depending on where you go, and who you schmooze and what kind of deal you can work with the retailers. But plan on spending about $350 to $400 for a 3-inch lift kit for each Jeep. So that puts you into about $800 or so, give or take. That's of course without things like wheels and tires or any other kind of accessories, armor, et cetera, et cetera. You just want to get the Jeep up in the air. Give yourself some more room to put on like some 30s or 31s. A 3-inch kit will definitely do that for you. And I personally would recommend Rough Country or Rubicon Express.
Yeah. Rough Country, if you don't want to spend the arm and the leg, if you want to keep one of those two appendages, is my choice. Now, I have Rough Country on 3 vehicles. Now, I know you guys are going to think this. I'm going to articulate it. Josh is going to be like, the guy with the halo, talking about the 3-inch lift, and I'm going to be the guy like with the horns and the red suit talking about, you're crazy, 3 inches, give me a break. Now, the reason why I say that, I think it's the caller said he doesn't want to have to go into a lot of modifications because of the height of the lift. Well, you don't have to. You can go 5.5, 6.5 and not really have to modify anything. Whenever you have to make modifications is when you start throwing 35-inch tires on there, because now you're putting a lot of torque on the steering, and you might need another steering box, certainly a drop pitman arm, but that's not really a major deal, replacing the pitman arm. Now, if all you need is like 31-inch tires and a 3-inch lift, and that's your goal, that's fine. But I'll warn you, just like the folks on NAXJA warned me back in like 2005 or 4 or whatever, when I was asking, I've got a 98 Jeep Cherokee and I want to lift it. What lift should I go with? And they said, whatever you go with, you're going to change it later. You're going to go up higher because everybody does that. So if you go with a larger lift and go ahead and work in the other little things that you're going to have to do, then you're going to save money in the long run, because I can almost guarantee you, now you might not do it with both of them, but you're probably going to do it with one where you go, if I went to a 6.5-inch lift, I could do this. Now, I will warn you, when you start putting the larger tires, and I'm only talking about 32s, you're going to see if you're using the AW4 automatic transmission, you're going to see a big difference in the gear ratio. And when you're out on the highway, you're really going to notice it going up and over an overpass. And I'm not talking about a major one, just a normal everyday one. There's people that drive around all the time and they say it's just fine. I personally didn't like it. So when I had 32s, my gas mileage dropped about 2 miles per gallon, re-gearing to 456 gears, got that back, and also made it more like it was whenever I first got it. Now I'm at 6.5 inch lift and 33-inch tires right now. I'm not planning on going with any larger tires, but with the 456 gears, I could go up to 35s and still have stock gearing. So the bottom line here is, with a 3-inch Rough Country lift, it's about $350 or so, $400. Those are add-a-leafs. Those aren't replacement leafs, because I just did it to my 99 that my daughters drive, and put a 3-inch Rough Country lift on it, and it was about $500 for the one with full leafs. So 3-inch lift looks good. Got 30-inch tires on there. They're probably a little small for that size lift, but it's okay. They like it, and it really makes it look good. So, you can go the direction Josh mentioned, which is the 3-inch lift, which sounds like that's what you're looking for anyway. But man, I promise you, come back to us in 2 years and tell us where you are. I bet you got a 4.5 to 6.5 inch lift on there.
Yeah, it's true. I got bit by the bug. When I first got my Cherokee, I mean, I knew that I was going to lift it straight away. And I told myself, all I really need is 31s. I've done my research. I can go plenty of places with that kind of clearance. I'm only going to need this much lift. I'm only going to have to do this much to the Jeep. And, a year or two later, just like Tony said, I had gotten bit by the bug. The Jeep bug got me, the lift bug, and, just component after component after component started going into it, modification after modification, upgrade after upgrade, armor, the whole 9 yards. And, here I am, 5, 6, 7 years later, and, I've got this massive weekend warrior that I just couldn't be more proud of.
Yeah.
And it's just a ton of fun.
And there's nothing wrong with going that direction. Absolutely not. I mean, a lot of people do it. And I think it's just one of those things where, you try to teach your kids, don't make the same mistakes I did. and that's really my advice to you. I wish I had done a few things differently. It would have saved me some money, and I would have been just as Josh's subconscious would say, awesome, all that much faster.
That's right. If I recently had experience with Rough Country's 4.5-inch long arm kit, firsthand helping out with the installation on that on a 92 Jeep Cherokee for a 92 War Wagon. And I have to say, that is a very, very complete kit. Mm-hmm. And it requires very little modification. And what I mean by that is if you're planning on running 33-inch tires with a 4.5-inch kit like that, you're going to need to do some fender trimming.
Yep.
And which isn't a big deal, but if you really have some reservations about taking a saw or cutting on the Jeep at all, then you're going to have to, step down in the tire size. But nonetheless, that kit will definitely give you room to grow. And you can still run 31s on that. Might look a little off, but you're definitely going to be able to clear 31s with a 4.5-inch lift kit all day long without having to get into things like bump stopping and fender trimming and things like that. But those kits will put you into about the $1,300 to $1,500 range. Times that by 2 Jeeps, we're talking $3,000, not including wheels, or not including tires rather. So, it all comes down to budget, what your plans are, how much money you're trying to spend, and really what the attitude of the Jeep is really what you're looking for. So, I hope we've answered some of your concerns and hope we've helped you make that kind of decision. Please call us back if you have a follow-up question, or let us know what you're deciding to go with.
Yeah. And all you guys out there, if you have a question and you want to be really confused by Josh wanting to go one way and me wanting to go another, please call us and let us know. Well, we can't just both think the same way, right, Josh? I mean, we have our own individual experiences and wishes and dreams, and, we give them both. We're like Fox News. We give you both sides. You decide.
Yeah. For instance, I like unicorn farts and you like bacon. So
bacon unicorn fart sounds pretty good.
Hey, now we're on to something.
Well, Josh, as usual, we are woefully past time. And you're tired too.
I am. I'm beat after that commute and a long week. I'm spent. I'm ready for bed. So hey, one heck of a show, Tony. Good job. I think this is a good note to go out on.
Yeah. Hey guys, don't forget, as we mentioned, Stitcher Radio. Do the review. Listen to us. Also, listen to us on iTunes, and you can do a review over there. Damn it, these people got the same idea. 5 stars. Let us know what you think of the show. We're also on Facebook. We're on the Twitter. And actually, I've been posting up a bunch of pictures of Jeeps on both the WranglerTalk.com Twitter and the xjtalk.com Twitter. I changed the name actually on it to XJ Talk Show, but you can still find us at XJ Talk.
And don't forget about our YouTube. Obviously, you live event listeners or viewers, I guess it would be. I already know about this, but please tell a friend. You guys can check us out on YouTube. Make sure you just go to YouTube and do a quick search for XJ Talk Show, and you can find us there. We do live events every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central. Encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel and spread the word.
Yep, it's a really simple. I was throwing in the /user in there for a long time. Don't have to do it. YouTube.com/XJTalk. It don't get much simpler than that unless Mama comes over and does it for you.
And please head over to xjtalkshow.com where you can find our entire podcast archive there for your listening pleasure, free to download, and there's no sign-up required.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget, we're actually pushing more content towards you guys. We have been putting out the promos and the little promos that Josh and I do right after the show. We were doing video only, but we've been putting them out there for download. Maybe you guys are enjoying them. Let us know if you're liking that. But the big deal is we're putting up some of the old interviews, some of the old Jeep tips, and even some of the old electrical and audio tips as standalone podcasts. So they're repeats, but it's something you hadn't heard for quite a while, and it doesn't have all that show stuff wrapped around it. It's just the meat.
And Tony, because of overwhelming demand, we're actually going to be giving the users some additional content as well. You guys stay tuned for that. We are going to be releasing some new stuff here coming up very soon. Something around, just a few minute mark, but it's going to be some very good tech tip type stuff that we're going to give you. So stick around for that. You guys will be seeing that in your inbox here very soon.
Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week, next Thursday, 10 p.m. And, have a great Jeep week.
We'll see you later.
And we are out.
All right, very good. I've already got a promo script down at the bottom of the show notes.
You got time for me to run to the bathroom? It's a number 2, so I'll probably be 5 or 10 minutes at least.
Hey, that's perfect because there's some very loud noises going on the side of my house I'd like to check out. So, I'll meet you back here in about 5 minutes.
Actually, I know you're tired, and I was just giving you a hard time. Go check out your noise. Go check out your noise.
All right, I'll be right back.
I hate it whenever sarcasm goes horribly wrong. Well, this gives me an opportunity to play another video. If you guys haven't seen this already, this is one that I did whenever I was taking the KC lights, the incandescent lights, off of my Jeep and putting on the LEDs. I got 2 of these 7-inch dual row LED lights and 1 20-inch dual row LED light, and took those 3 lights and replaced the KCs with them. And I'll let you see the video and you can choose for yourself what you think of it. I took this picture kind of while I was in the middle of changing things out, so you can kind of see the old KCs laying back there, or the new lights. But look at this. Now, the camera, of course, doesn't really pick up how bright it is in reality, but I use the same camera, the same street for both the incandescents and the LEDs. That's with 4 the 4 KC lights on the front of my Jeep. No, not overhead, but on the front. So here's the 7-inch 36 watt. I got 2 of those. And then I got this 1 20-inch 126 watt. So they're kind of cool because they're bottom mount. They're not the side mount like you would normally see on a lot of the Jeeps. So it went straight onto the metal tabs that were welded onto the bar in front. It was made the installation very easy. So here we are driving down the same stretch of road. Those are the outside 7-inch lights. And then here you see it again. And again. I was just absolutely floored. And keep in mind, I paid about $200 for the KC lights a few years ago. And the KC lights, the LED lights cost maybe $10, $20 more I probably spent like $240 with free shipping off of eBay, off of seller on eBay. Look at the difference. I mean, it's incredible. Night and day. And I got a 44-inch that I'm going to be mounting as well. So, yep, it was pretty cool. But we try to do informative videos over there on our XJ Talk YouTube channel. So please subscribe, or if you just don't want to subscribe, damn it, that's fine. Watch our videos. What was it, Josh?
The kids were playing around in the backyard, and they were going in and out of the side gate, and they were slamming that gate, and it was rattling the whole side of the house.
Did you shoot them? Because in Texas, we just shoot them.
I give them a good stern talking to.
Oh, you kids, get out of my yard. What are you doing in my yard?
Starting to be the old man. Yeah, get out of my yard.
Are you whippersnappers?
All right, so let's see. I guess we'll just do. I was going to try a little different effect on the video, but I think I'll just leave it like this so we can get through it. I know you've had a long day.
Yes, sir.
So, guys, we're going to wrap it up here on the live show. We're going to do the promo, and then we're going to get the hell out of here, or Josh is, and I'm going to be editing the audio so we can put this up for download for tomorrow. Oh, downloads have been great, Josh. The numbers are outstanding. So, whatever we're doing, I think the showering that you're doing now is actually helping. I wouldn't think that the cleanliness would be coming through the podcast,
It's funny how hygiene just kind of, through the mic and over the camera. I don't know. I got to be doing something right over here.
I personally am making sure I wear clean underwear every day. So, with the showers and the clean underwear. Now, if we both did both those things, the sky would be the limit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. With all this stuff, you were driving through the snow today. I hope you had clean underwear, at least to start, before you started the trip. Because if you're in an accident, God forbid, you're in an accident, you got dirty underwear.
Yeah, really. Isn't that the old famous saying? Your mom always tells you to put on clean underwear or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, and then you're in an accident and you dirty it, you soil it, so you're screwed either way. But Mom, it was clean when I started. Yeah. Anyway, I think that was a Bill Cosby routine.
That could be.
All right, guys. Anyway, we could go on forever, so but we won't. Have a very good night. Hope you like the new video production software that we're running. Let us know. Call in. Let us know. Leave some comments on the video. I'd rather you call in, though. Anyway, have a great night. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, guys.
Ooh, I didn't have to log on to stop the stream.